So after 14 years, we finally won a Premier League game at Old Trafford. How does that feel? Hello, my name is Richard. Welcome back to my channel over and over and over again, which features everything to do with Arsenal. In this video, I just want to look back at that fantastic performance and victory yesterday here at Old Trafford. Just before I do that, I just want to make sure that you are subscribing to my channel. If you like what I do, please click the subscribe button. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up as well, as it really does help it to grow. And if you've got any comments or questions at all about the performance yesterday or anything to do with Arsenal, please drop them in the comments box below, as it is nice to hear from you guys as well what your thoughts are on it all. So yesterday, I mean, where do we start? What a fantastic performance that was, and more important than that, a fantastic result. Last couple of years, we've been close to getting a victory here in the Premier League. It hasn't quite happened, but yesterday was fantastic, wasn't it? What a brilliant performance that was, from front to back. Everybody carried out the game plan to perfection. And although it was quite nervy at the end, it's hanging on a little bit for the 1-0, there's no question that, first of all, we deserved a victory. And secondly, really, we could have won maybe by a higher margin as well. I thought, for me, the key to that game, the key to our success was the midfield. I thought the partnership between Mohamed Elneny and Thomas Partey was fantastic, absolutely dominated that game. They seem to complement each other really well. Both played with a lot of energy and quality, both looking to move the ball forward. And it just helped us to take the game to them, which is exactly what we've been crying out for in our past few league games, actually, where we've been maybe a little bit timid. But we went to Manchester United and we did take the game to them, and it paid off. First of all, if we start with the team lineup, first of all, one or two surprises as usual. Mikel Arteta always throws in a couple, doesn't he? He never just plays the team that we're all expecting. But in goal was Bernd Leno, of course, as expected. Now, we did go over back three, which is what I'd kind of predicted before we would. The surprise really was it was Rob Holding who replaced David Luiz. Rob Holding, of course, has been injured himself. Just came back actually a little bit earlier than expected. So he was in the starting lineup. Of course, 2 years ago in this fixture was when, of course, he suffered his terrible ACL injury. So it was almost a redemption for him in this particular game. The other two central defenders was Gabriel and Kieran Tierney was on the left. Across midfield, it was Hector Bellerin on the right, sort of the right wing-back position. Bukayo Saka was on the left. And in the centre, as I say, was Mohamed Elneny, Thomas Partey in the centre. A fantastic partnership they proved to be. And the front three, we had Willian was on the right-hand side, Aubameyang on the left-hand side, and Alexander Lacazette through the middle. That was perhaps the one area of the team that maybe didn't function as well as the rest of it. But even so, we still put in a fantastic performance all the way through the game. In the first half, we started really well. We took the game to them. We put them under a lot of pressure. But they had the first real clear-cut opportunity of the game. Marcus Rashford's ball over to the far side found Mason Greenwood. And it was a good save, actually, by Leno with his legs. He'd have been disappointed if it had gone beating him at the near post. But even so, it was still a good save. But after that, the rest of the first half, it was all up the other end of the pitch. It was all our opportunities, really. The first real good chance we had was when there's a good move, actually, down the right-hand side. Bellerin drilled the ball across the 6-yard box, and just too far ahead of Aubameyang. He slid in at the far post, but he couldn't quite reach it. Then later on, Willian hit the bar. That was a good effort, actually, and lovely 1-2 on the edge of the box with Aubameyang. One of the rare occasions where the front three really did combine well. And then probably the best chance we had in that first half was just before half-time. Again, it was a cross from Bellerin, putting some really good balls from the right-hand side. Found it ahead of Bukayo Saka. He should have maybe put it on target, and instead he headed it over the bar. But at half-time, it was 0-0, and we were looking good. But, of course, bearing in mind what happened last weekend against Leicester, where, again, in the first half, we'd had the better chances. We'd been the better team. We didn't score. And, of course, in the end, the second half didn't quite go to plan. So I was a little bit worried that we hadn't maybe took some of these chances that we'd created. But then in the second half, again, it was us creating the biggest problems for their defence. We had a chance fairly early on with Aubameyang, curled one just wide. In fact, it got deflected off Lindelof's back, although it was given as a goal kick. And that was after combining well with Lacazette. So, again, the front three were combining at times quite nicely. Man United had a couple of chances. There was a header from Harry Maguire. It was a free kick from Luke Shaw to the far post. Maguire's header went across the goal. But then came the big moment. 68th minute it was. We got a move down the right-hand side. Willian played the ball inside to Hector Bellerin, who moved into the penalty area. He was actually going away from goal, but Paul Pogba dived in with a silly challenge, really, as he even admitted himself after the game. He caught Hector Bellerin on the back of the heel, and it was a clear penalty. Referee Mike Dean had no choice other than to give the penalty. I'm sure he didn't want to give us one, but he had no option, really. And suddenly we had a great opportunity to take the lead. In games like this, it is important to get the first goal. Previously, we haven't done that, have we? And we've played quite well in some of the recent away games at these big six sides. I haven't been able to get in front. We had a great opportunity. So, of course, it was Aubameyang who stepped up. Of course, he hasn't scored a league goal, had he, since the first game of the season, his longest run without a goal in an Arsenal shirt. But you'd never have known that he was lacking in confidence the way he stood up and put a penalty really confidently into the corner of the net, the right-hand corner. De Gea went the wrong way, put us 1-0 up. He did a nice little dance as well, didn't he, which was fantastic. After that, Man United made a few changes. They brought Van der Beek on, for example, and really tried to get back into the game. But to be honest, this was where our organisation and our defensive solidity really came to the fore. We defended absolutely magnificently from front to back. Everybody put a shift in. Even when we made some changes later on, we actually changed the whole of the front three in the end. Maitland-Niles replaced Willian, and Nketiah replaced Lacazette, and in a surprise, Mustafi replaced Aubameyang. But again, just to shore it all up really at the end. And it was a fantastic performance, and we held on, I wouldn't say comfortably. The last 5-10 minutes or so was a little bit nervy, but we held on. Can't remember them really having a shot on target in the final few minutes of the game. And it was a great, fantastic performance. Looking through the team, really, everybody played well. But I really want to, there's a couple of players that I think deserve a special mention. Rob Holding, of course, as I said, on this ground where he suffered his terrible injury 2 seasons ago, he put in a good shift, considering, he was surprisingly included, actually, because he hasn't really trained much recently because of an injury. He put in a great performance. And, of course, next to him, Gabriel. I mean, this guy is just fantastic, isn't he? 21 years old, coming to a new country this season. And he's been, I think, from what I've seen in the Premier League, he's probably been the top performing defender in the whole of the Premier League this season. He was absolutely magnificent yesterday. He just reads the game well. He anticipates things really well. He's strong, and he's really comfortable with the ball as well. I mean, what a fantastic signing. He's proving to be an absolute bargain. And just what we've needed as well. He was brilliant again. And of course, I say the two in midfield. Mohamed El-Neni, what a renaissance he's had this season. I don't think anybody thought he had a future at the club, and I don't think anybody could have imagined that he'd be able to produce performances like this. But this is what he's been doing all season. And his presence in there gave Thomas Partey real licence to influence the game this time. Last week against Leicester, if you remember, the game bypassed Thomas Partey completely, but not this time. This time it was a magnificent performance from Partey, but that was mainly down to the work of El-Neni beside him. They just worked well together, didn't they? And you can see this being a really good partnership moving forward. Yeah, I suppose it's the nearest we've had to maybe the Vieira and Gilberto partnership from back in the day. Let's not get carried away yet, but it was certainly had that type of influence on a big game like this. Both of those two players were magnificent. I say, unfortunately, maybe the front three still aren't quite. It's not quite firing for them, is it? And they say without the penalty, we didn't create an awful lot of chances, did we? But that's something that it's a work in progress, isn't it? You can see what we're doing. We've now got the best defensive record in the Premier League. And who would have thought that from a year or two ago when we were shipping goals right, left and centre? So Arteta's got to take massive credit for the work he's done on the defensive shape of the team. It's just now a matter of getting that balance right. And yesterday, the signs were there in midfield in particular that we're getting there. We were being a lot more progressive. And at times we played some good football as well, didn't we? Some nice little passing movements. It's just, I say, we're just not creating, I don't think, as many chances as we're going to need to create. And we can't keep relying on our solid defence. You've got to be able to create chances and score more goals than we are. But, that's a work in progress, as I said. And at the moment, we've got to be delighted with the progress that we've made defensively. And we finally got the monkey off our back, winning away at Old Trafford in the league. I say the first time for 14 years. And also as well to win away at a traditional top 6 team as well. It's first time, that's our first win in 30 attempts since beating Manchester City in January 2015. So we've ended 2 big runs, and hopefully that's an important step for the team as well, mentally as much as anything else. The only downside for me is the fact that, of course, fans couldn't be there. We couldn't be there to enjoy it. That would have been fantastic, wouldn't it, to be in that away end when that penalty went in. It would have been brilliant. But that's for another day. I'm sure that fans will be back in the ground very soon, and we can enjoy this team's progression as they're moving forward. Of course, it puts us in a reasonably strong position, 1 point off the top 4, only 4 points actually off the top, which kind of makes that disallowed goal last week against Leicester now even more important, doesn't it? Because if that went in and we won that game, we'd now be sitting second place in the league, just 1 point off the top. And that would have been a fantastic start, wouldn't it? But despite the issues over the last few weeks, we put in a great performance. We needed a result. We got a result, we got a win, and we just need to enjoy this now and look at it as something to build on as well as we move forward. And hopefully we can start producing more of these sort of results and more of these performances in these sort of games as the season goes on. So I just want to give credit to every single player yesterday. Massive credit to Mikel Arteta for his tactical game plan, and the players, of course, for carrying it out as well. In terms of a man of the match, it's going to come down to three, isn't it? The three I've mentioned there, Gabriel, El Neni and Thomas Partey, all three of them were magnificent, really. If I was going to have to pick one, I would go with Thomas Partey, just because I felt his influence on the game was probably greater. But the other two certainly are a very close second, probably equal, I would say. Thomas Partey just maybe shaded it for me, but brilliant performance. But we just need more of this now, don't we? This needs to be the start of a great run and a great set of performances moving forward, and then we can all be happy and we can all see exactly where we're going, and then we'll have a great chance, won't we, finishing in the top four. Let's just put it into the perspective a little bit. I'm not going to be negative, but this is a poor Manchester United side. They're currently 15th in the Premier League. They haven't won at home yet. So let's not get carried away. At this moment in time, we've got to take anything. We needed to win, and we did. And it was a great performance. That's the main thing. It's just a shame we couldn't maybe have won it by as many goals as we perhaps deserved. But that's just being greedy, isn't it? So that's it then. I say, if you enjoy what I'm doing on this channel, please click the subscribe button. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, as well as it does help it to grow. I've got a lot more stuff coming up on the channel this week. Obviously, it's a big Europa League week as well, again, before another massive Premier League game on Sunday against Aston Villa. I'll be doing previews of both of those games. I'm looking at getting an Aston Villa fan on as well later in the week to look ahead to that game. Maybe on Friday, if I can sort that out in time. And also, as well, we say I'll be doing the previews of the games. I've got my weekly Premier League roundup coming later on this afternoon as well on this channel. So stay tuned for that. Okay, lots of great stuff going on as well. So thanks for the support of the channel. Thanks for watching this video. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Please drop your comments in the box below about this performance, this match, or anything else to do with Arsenal. And of course, in the meantime, as always, come on, you Gunners!